Cyclone fans know it's worth the hype. Unleaded 88 is cheaper, cleaner, and greener than regular unleaded. Plus, it's renewable and grown by farmers, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. Pump it up with Unleaded 88.
This is a matchup for the ages. Body cuts a path straight to the paint, and she serves up a slam dunk. Oh, Body may have the win, but Frank really got the W on that play. That's got to hurt.
I'm Chris Williams from Cyclone Fanatic and a proud Iowa State graduate from the class of 2007. No one shows up like Iowa State fans.
And Cyclones support Cyclones on and off the field.
Your gift can provide scholarships to students, fund groundbreaking research. We can even drum up opportunities for the marching band. Visit MoveWhatMatters.com to learn how you can make an impact today.
Chris Williams, Brent Blum, from the Wild Rose Casino Studio. It's Williams and Blum, presented by Mechdyne, on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network.
What is up? Welcome to Williams and Blum. It is the 8th of December, Sunday night, back from the Big D, talking bowl games, talking portal. Well, that sucked.
Yeah, that's the understatement of the day.
I mean, it really, really sucked. But somebody did say to me last night, voice is a little hoarse. Bloom and I had a few pops. Actually, we really behaved ourselves.
Yeah, we were in bed by
literally
10
just
o'clock.
Yeah, we went to bed at 10.
For old guys, yeah.
Yeah, we sat and watched the other championship games. That was what we did. So nothing crazy. Now somebody said to me, it's like, well, because I was, wearing the heart on the sleeve. We all were. And he goes, you could look at it this way. Our consolation prize is like bowl games that we used to like dream to get to. I'm like, oh, that's not a bad way to look at it. I mean, anyways, we are presented as always by Mechdyne. We are in the Wild Rose Casino Studios. Bloom, how did you get home today? Because I think I was one of the last people to get a direct.
Yeah.
And you were all over. You were scatting all over the country. Were you Denver? Go through Denver?
I had to go Dallas, Denver, Des Moines. So the 3 Ds. 3 Ds right there. But made it. Had no issues, so that was good. I'm here. And caught the men's game right when I pulled in. And that was not competitive, which is great. So, yeah, crazy day. I mean, the wild thing is, Cita, there's so much going on right now. I mean, obviously we're going to talk about the game, but there's so much going on. It's just really hard to kind of wrap your mind around. And where do we even begin? Well,
it's funny because my wife was like, my wife is over at Bloom's house. We're doing a little pizza deal with the kids tonight. And she's like, it shouldn't be that long of a podcast. There's really nothing to talk about. I'm like, no, you're so wrong. Because, honestly, I don't think our audience even wants us to talk about the game. It's like, let's get to the portal. We got basketball, Cyhawk week coming up. It's that time of year. Matt's name will get mentioned with about 15 jobs coming up. So there's just, and there will be portal news, I'm guessing, starting tomorrow. I don't, you may be privy. I'm not, but I'm not an idiot either. Not ever. And don't freak out, to the fans. This is just life now. And I think that most fans kind of understood that last year. It was 2 years ago where everybody was like, and now it's just kind of the world.
Part of it.
So that starts on Monday. And Iowa State is in a bowl game in Orlando, the former Cheez-It Bowl, now the Pop-Tart Bowl. Good branding. Nice job.
It really, I was just looking this afternoon. It was the highest rated non-playoff game last year because they do an awesome job. It's silly, but that Pop-Tart mascot,
Yeah.
I mean, that was K-State and NC State last year, C-Dub. It got 5 million viewers. More than
Iowa State. Clemson pulled a great number in that Cheez-It. It is a good bowl game. It is one of the better matchups every year.
From a travel standpoint, it's not good. I totally understand it. The prices are insane trying to get to Orlando. It's really hard.
As we found out.
From a marketing standpoint, a visibility standpoint, it's really good. It is 2:30 against a brand team in Miami. Sounds like all the Iowa State guys are going to play. So that's great.
That's great. I mean, it makes me care so much more.
Yeah.
I'll scout this game now. If half those guys were out, I would cover it and I would do my job. But when they're playing, now it's like a real game. Let's go.
I know bowl games have been devalued, and they're only going to continue to get devalued as the playoff dominates the conversation.
It's because the playoff grows.
Yeah,
that's why.
It still is though, and I don't know who's going to play for Miami. Will Cam Ward play? It'd be super interesting to see if he does.
I would doubt it.
But that's a top 15 program. You could argue it'd be Iowa State's best bowl win ever. If it were to win. Again, I know bowl games have changed.
It would absolutely. Well, no. I mean, the Fiesta,
yeah. But
that's the best bowl win ever.
It is.
But other than that, this would be it.
That Oregon team was 4-2. I mean.
Yeah, I know. But it was still.
It was still the BCS game or whatever.
And a brand program.
Yeah. For sure. But I'm saying this is still a really good opportunity. But it's still a bummer because you're looking at where Arizona State gets to go do now. They get a bye and playing in the Peach Bowl as a 4 seed. It's holy crap, but it is what it is. And I guess the good news about yesterday is you didn't. It was a pretty convincing win for Arizona State. I mean, they were clearly better. Better. This wasn't a deal where it's if this or that. It's not. Iowa State got beat. And sometimes you get beat and you move on and you try and get better. And this is still an important time for Iowa State and. Take advantage of these next couple of weeks and see what we can do for next year.
We knew Arizona State was the hottest team in the league going into that. We knew Skattebo would be nasty. Man, I will say this: what I was wrong about their defense was just bigger and better than I thought it would be.
Totally agree.
Their offense, that's what I thought it would be. And I remember I was saying I think you should play the over. I thought Iowa State would have a hard time, but I also. I didn't foresee him being as poor of tackling as Iowa State was in that game. It was considerably worse than what my nightmares had led me to believe. But Arizona State's defense, I just thought really was tough. Other thing I would point out is, God, I'm sick. I already watched the game back.
You brave SOB.
Those 3 fumbles, just. Really, because even at halftime, God, you were really 2 plays go differently. You freaking give up the 4th down.
Yeah.
And then the bad PI. You flip 2 plays and the game's basically tied.
Yep.
But then when you inexplicably have 3 turnovers in your first 3 possessions, and then it was just over, right?
Yeah,
the thing, done. And you keep putting your defense back out onto the short field. And it was the classic compounding of a snowball rolling down a hill. And that's what sucks so much about it. I wish, I don't think they would have won. I think Arizona State was better than Iowa State. I wish they wouldn't have had those fumbles immediately just to make it a little more respectable, right? To have the perception that this was a more, because Iowa State's better than what they showed in that game. And that's what's so disappointing if you drove down there and did all that.
Well, I think that's the biggest thing is, huge spotlight. Obviously, that would have been a program-defining win to win a championship. But then all the people, man, Friday night was so fun. The vibes
we had a blast. Yeah.
The vibes were elite Friday night leading up to the game. And even that first drive, Iowa State gets the stop, holds them to a field goal, and Iowa State just absolutely cooked on that first drive. And you're thinking, all right, here we go. Kind of like, what you talked about, like this Iowa State offense on the turf, it's going to do really well.
Yeah, look, that's what it was at first.
In the first quarter, Iowa State moved it with regularity. Interestingly, I was just talking with Aiden before we hopped on here. Iowa State had 24 first downs to Arizona State's 17. But it just goes to show the power of the big play and then the turnovers clearly.
Skattebo,
I thought
man.
and Skattebo was really good. Like that guy, I was talking to Sage after the game, Rosenfels, at a local establishment, and I'm like, is he an NFL guy? He's like, I think he is. Like, I really do think he's an NFL player, and he was great. And I thought Levitt was great too. Like, I did not give that kid enough credit.
Yeah, he was better than I thought.
Those couple plays early in that game where he extended on like that couple fourth down plays were huge. And I thought their staff was awesome. Like, they called a great game on both sides of the ball. Super impressed. I would love to, if you're Iowa State, that 4th and 2 when they hit the big play.
Yeah.
Do that one over. You get a stop there. The game could be different, right? You look at some of those swing plays, even late in the second quarter, very much still a game. Iowa State goes 3 and out with 1:10, punts it away, and then Arizona State right down the field to score. And at that point, it was just, and then inexplicably, in my opinion, Iowa State gets to the 50-yard line and just the clock runs out. Like I don't know. I didn't necessarily enjoy that sequence of events at the time. And I think I understand it to a point of Matt saying, hey, things are not going right now. Let's just get into the locker room and reassess, which I get that. It just felt like what was a tie game, 10-10, and then all of a sudden you're down 2 touchdowns at halftime. You fumble the first drive, and the game's over.
Yeah.
And just to give you numbers, like turnovers ultimately are the biggest deciding factor.
The offense lost the game after the Dominic Orange sack, and they went 3 and out.
Yep. That was it. You needed something there. What you could not do is go 3 and out and then have them score too.
Yeah, even if you got 2 first downs and like ran the clock out or punted or whatever.
You're only down 7, you get the ball.
Yeah.
Being down 2 touchdowns just felt like a lot at half, and then you fumble away.
Well, it felt like a lot because you got a guy on the other side that you can't tackle.
Well, that's yeah. I actually surprised they didn't run him more.
Well, Woody had really Woody did post game with me on CF, and he kind of talked, and I mean we don't know this, but he's played in these games against freaking RG3 and like whoever, and like when you have a guy like that over there and your defense is in the shape that Iowa State's was yesterday, how it can just mentally affect an offense too, because it's like, God, we can't give it back to that guy, and then you start to press, and I do think that all of that, and Conradi misses that field goal.
Yep.
Well, and that was at like a highly emotional point, and you throw him out there, and you feel like you're settling anyways. Like I think
after
that
they PI that didn't get called. Yeah.
2 PIs that should have been called, but it is what it is. That's not why Iowa State lost, but it certainly impacted the flow of that game, and that's where they lost the game, was the final 5 minutes of the second or the first half.
Yeah, and then the turnovers were just the punch in the gut. First, how about this, Cita? Most turnovers for Iowa State in a game since at TCU in 2022.
Wow, that was Purdy, right?
No, that was Hunter Deckers when we got beat by 100.
And a young man named Rocco Beck came in and got some playing time.
Yep.
Yeah. Remember that.
So it's one of those things where you can't do it. Like you can't expect to, when you can't stop them anyway, and then you fumble it, and it's just a regrettable performance. I mean, it doesn't take the shine off winning 10 games, but that special season, you came up against a better team. Arizona State was just a better team.
Yeah, they certainly were. There's, and I wouldn't want to play them in the playoff right now either. Like that's a dangerous team.
I was super fascinated that they gave both Boise and Arizona State buys.
I mean, I tweeted this in the third quarter, and a bunch of Iowa State, I don't understand why a bunch of Iowa State fans got pissed at me, but I said this might be enough, like of an ass whooping, to put the Big 12 into a bye, and it was like, I mean, Clemson winning helped, with that. Obviously,
Yep.
like it kind of
Yep.
changed things a little bit there, but I think they're absolutely deserving of it. I mean, if you just look at the metrics, I am shocked. The one thing that the committee, I will give them credit for, I think they're wrong, by the way, but I am shocked that they've given Boise as much
I am
respect
too.
as they have.
I am too.
I didn't think that they would do that for a G5 team.
Wild to me.
Which I'm glad they are, though. Like, I hope that it stays like that, but I can see that this Greg Sankey thing's not going to – this is not going in a positive direction.
If we actually want to root for Boise now, I mean, you want –
Absolutely.
You and Arizona State, too. Like, for the good of the conference, I don't know, like, I met some Arizona State people. Most were nice. You dealt with a couple
I really
weirdos.
liked their fans.
Yeah, so I dealt with a couple weirdos after the game that were trying to start instigating things. It was like, whatever.
Were you with Rosenfels?
Yeah.
Seems like a bad idea.
I know.
He's got all of his NFL buddies.
Yeah.
Like,
So he was with you'll remember this name because you're a Western Iowa guy. Brody Darren. Remember Brody Darren?
oh, yeah. Brody Darren was a hell of a basketball player.
Yep. He played at Creighton.
He was a Harlan guy.
Yep. Harlan guy. So but he was
Man, we used to go and watch legit, like, we would go wherever Brody Darren was playing in the Hawkeye 10, and we would go and scout him. Like, me and my
Awesome
dad
guy.
would go watch him.
Yeah, so anyway, Brody's like 6'8", 240, like
He's a dude. He played for Altman,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Good memory. So anyway, yeah, no, it's not like anyone thing was gonna like go down or anything, but it's just these people, they were chirping a little bit to us in the middle of the hotel lobby, which is like not really
It's a
necessary.
bad move.
But I think for the playoff wise, this is about as best case for the Big 12 of only having
For
one
now.
team for now. Yeah. Now
Until
we'll see.
until Sankey's like, oh, Bama got robbed.
I know, like, that's why I was conflicted. I'm like, I'm glad they did it that way, but also, will this hasten the process
Yes,
of the
that's
SEC
my theory.
trying to
That's my theory.
screw everybody?
Now, because, I mean, he literally in October, remember, Sankey like threatened them. Remember? He goes, well,
Yeah.
we'll just see how this
We'll see how it
goes. It
goes.
better
Yeah.
go well.
Yeah.
Like, he's literally threatening the committee that we're going to blow this shit up if you don't treat my schools well.
And then
Like,
you had the Alabama athletic director with some like, oh, I guess we're going to have to fix our non-conference schedule now. Here we go. Yeah, thank you, Aiden. Here's Greg Byrne, the Alabama AD. Disappointed with the outcome. Felt we were one of the 12 best teams, yada, yada. We have said that we would need to see how strength of schedule would be evaluated by the committee. With this outcome, we will need to assess how many P4 non-conference games make sense in the future to put us in the best position to participate. So he got community noted on Twitter. Like they
Really?
said, well, so they got, they get the notes if you're in
Yeah.
misinformation. And it said, in all actuality, all of Alabama's 3 losses were in conference play. And then look who they played. They played Mercer, Wisconsin.
you remember when the committee bumped their positioning up over Miami after their win over Mercer?
Yeah.
That was my favorite.
Yeah, I was just like, so we're in for. It's going to be interesting. I think
These guys.
they will go to bat for themselves here, and I think next year they might change it as soon as next year.
Legit story. This actually happened.
Look at
to me,
Larry,
too.
my guy Cyclone Larry responded to Greg. It's good for college football. It's just not good for you, you bozo.
Legit. Speaking of these college football dorks, I was in an elevator pregame, and there was this one guy who was he was kind of rude to the guy who was pressing buttons and stuff like that. He was a Rose Bowl guy. Couldn't make it up. Like, what's the Rose Bowl guy doing here, anyways? What do they need? What do these bowl reps need? I gotta go stay at that Omni and eat some steak for a few nights. And
Somebody sent me a picture of
these
a
people.
Fiesta Bowl woman was at the game. I'm glad. I hope she enjoyed her time.
And now, but and then like those bowl games like actually make money and they have people there. The best ones are like the Birmingham Bowl or whatever, and they're staying. These execs are staying in all these fancy hotels and then they're like ripping off the schools. They're like making them pay like for their band to have tickets and all this just ridiculous fees so that guy can travel around the country lavishly. It's just incredible.
It's gonna get. They're gonna lose more appeal. I do think, by the way, the lopsided nature of that result of the Iowa State game took Iowa State out of the Alamo Bowl.
That's shocking to me that could happen. But I trust you, and other smart people are telling me that. I didn't think that was possible. I thought that it was strictly an economic decision.
Well, maybe it could be that too. Somebody was sitting behind an Alamo Bowl rep at the game and was watching. I swear this is like CSI stuff. They were watching the text messages
incredible.
and they took a photo and they sent it to me on Twitter. And it's a long string between this bowl rep and somebody else at the Alamo Bowl.
We have pod listeners spying on bowl executives during games.
And this thread starts with, well, shit. Not sure they're
That was probably me who texted this person.
not sure the Iowa State fans are going to want to travel anymore. So I think there is something
Well,
there.
I don't think okay, we'll meet in the middle. I don't think Iowa State losing the game kicked them out of the Alamo Bowl.
It maybe was a tiebreaker, though.
I don't think that these people care about the quality of the game. I think they care about how much money they can make.
Yeah.
I believe that they thought because of the ass whooping that Iowa State fans would be less enthused.
That's exactly what this
not,
thread was.
It wasn't like, oh, BYU and Colorado would be a better matchup. No. That's not how this works. They want money.
Yeah.
Did you ever think about? I was kicking this around. I'm not taking shot. I love BYU. Everybody knows this. I'm anti-Utah. So anything that Utah fans hate, I love. And do bowl sites penalize BYU because they don't drink? Like economically. I would guess that the restaurants on the Riverwalk are going to have a worse week compared to if Iowa State was.
It's interesting, though, but they still travel.
But because there's so many of them. They're all over the world.
The hotels are happy. But maybe not the bars.
Yeah.
But I mean, they'll still, it makes you wonder if that is a consideration.
It'll be a good game. I'm honestly disappointed that playing Miami and this game's about as good of a consolation as you can get if you were going to get kicked out of. It's a great opponent. I mean, it's a storied program. We've seen this before. Got our butt whooped by Notre Dame and that. Mm-hmm. So hopefully, this Iowa State team will show up. And Matt was pretty optimistic on the injuries. I mean, they get 3 weeks now. Clearly, you're going to have a healthy Bramer. J.R. Singleton should be full go. I would think.
I think Bacon will be back, by the way.
Good.
Potentially.
I mean, who knows about Malik? I kind of feel like Malik should just chill and get ready for the combine. Man. I mean, he's so injured. My heart was wrenching for him.
Yeah,
after
gutty
the game.
effort for him because he's has like a hyperextended elbow and he played with it.
In a broken arm. He's got two arms that don't work.
Yeah.
I love this group of seniors. I know you know them much better than I do, but everything about it is true. I just, I've said this has been my theme the last couple of weeks, but it's true. As I evolve and grow in this Iowa State thing, and I know you're there because you know all these guys way better than I do, but I just hurt for the people and the fans. So many freaking awesome people on Friday night came up and took pictures with us and shook our hands, and it was such a great. Those are the people. It's I wanted them to have the
moment
experience that we've had in Kansas City when the Clones win the championship. Right, it'll happen. It's gonna happen at some point. I truly believe it, but gosh darn it, just wasn't the weekend for that.
Yeah, and then you feel for those seniors. They wanted to win that more than any of us, right? And then it just didn't go their way. And I hope for them that they'll get another moment to celebrate. Hopefully winning a bowl game, just so they have good feelings going out. But I can't say enough about Jalen and Jaden, and I mean all JR, all these guys that have put so much in. And I'm hopeful they'll get the payoff in the end. It's not exactly where Iowa State wants to be, but you're still the most successful wins-wise in Iowa State history this year, and the's something to that. And I know it's not the playoff, but there still is something to
that. And that's what it'll be remembered for. Yeah. Right now, it's raw.
It is.
In a month, that's how the season will be remembered. But it sucks. It still sucks.
And I know Rocco didn't have his best game, clearly, but he's there in the tunnel, telling everybody as they walk to the locker room, "Hey, we're going to be back here next year. I promise you." So. like that. The guy is he like again didn't play his best game, but he's a phenomenal leader. And if number 3 is still around, guys will follow him, and I feel really good about what's still ahead for Iowa State football. And it's a big week. It's a big week on that front.
Like to give Noel and Rocco and these kids a lot of props for how they handled it in post game. I thought they were gracious.
Yep.
I thought it was a really good press conference. Just the way they conducted them, and they're just so authentic. Like I wish coaches were more like that. I thought Matt was great too. Actually, like I'm not criticizing him when I say that. It's just I really appreciated it. I because fans, it's funny. Like fans like. Because everything's so accessible in today's day and age with information and the way things move, we all want like somebody to blame when things go bad, and like I think that's just how humans have kind of evolved. I think, and it matters to be transparent and to go out there and to show some emotion like Jalen was, and like I hope fans watched it. Most of the time when Iowa State loses, you guys don't. Because I see the numbers after a win. We'll have 5 times more traffic on those things than after a loss, which I understand. When the Vikings lose, I won't listen to the post-game show. When the Vikings win, I'm locked into everything. I get it. But I think it helps, like, when these guys are real. And that's what I like about this group.
Yeah.
And they all said they were going to play in the bowl game, which is awesome. And it automatically makes me more interested. I hope it happens. Things could happen between now and then to change that. But if all those guys are playing, buckle up. Let's go. This Miami team just missed the college football playoff, just like Iowa State. This could be a great matchup.
Yeah, no, for sure. They're well said. I just, that's not how anybody wanted this weekend to go. But hey, as Iowa State fans, we've dealt with worse. We'll keep fighting. But and that's where I still think. I mean, Matt talked about a little bit. He's like, this group is still fairly young, and the seniors are really good, and you're going to miss them all. Like, there's no question. But with a couple additions, some tinkering here in the offseason, and I'm excited for what's ahead for Iowa State even next year. I mean, there's no reason why you shouldn't be picked in the top 5 in the Big 12 next year. And hopefully that taste of getting so close and coming up empty is the motivation you need in January and February when it gets really hard and cold and everything else to keep at it. And Arizona State proved it. You get the right mix at the right time, you get hot at the right time, and look at them. Pick last in the conference.
I was
now they're in the
impressed by
4 seed in the playoff.
I don't want this to come off wrong. You know what? I've made comments where I'm like, physically Iowa State just looks so much better than they have in the past, where it's just like you line up against it and like you're bigger, you're just as fast and strong as them. I thought Arizona State looked really big, like really strong and fast, and I'm not even criticizing Iowa State with that. I was really impressed by their level of athlete.
I thought was maybe the most important thing for them. Skattebo was great, clearly. But their wide receivers just got after blocking.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, that's a good Iowa State secondary, and those guys just got after them. Do you know who their wide receivers coach is? Hines Ward.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Former Pittsburgh Steeler, obviously really good player. So I mean, I was super impressed by their game plan, by their staff, and just their execution was off the charts. And Chris, only the second game this year Iowa State didn't force a turnover. The other one was Kansas. What happened in both those games? As good as this Iowa State defense is, it relies on, taking advantage of somebody's mistake. Arizona State did not make a mistake on offense. It was really, really impressive.
Let's thank some sponsors. My buddy Colin Newell. Colin Newell, he's both of our insurance guys. We run everything through him. Farm Bureau Financial Services. Reach out to him today. Colin, that's 1L, Colin.Newell at FBFS.com. Email him. Get yourself some money in the bank. Save that money heading into 2025. I want to thank my buddy Jeff Kelderman over at Kelderman Manufacturing, all of our friends over there as well. Kelderman.com. They have a wonderful YouTube page. You can go and check that out if you're into big trucks and diesels and all that badass stuff that Kelderman and them boys like to do down there in Oskaloosa. Also, our friends at the Ivy College of Business at Iowa State. I got to do a new podcast with the dean
Yes.
Because Bitcoin's over 100,000 now.
Oh.
And me and the dean have had a lot of little side bets on Bitcoin over the years. And I got to give him a hard time. He's much smarter than me, but I got to, I got to take my victory lap once in a blue moon when I can get one over the dean.
Say, there's not often you can take a victory lap on Dean
No,
David Spalding.
and it will probably never happen again because he's an elite human, elite mind.
And that college has grown like crazy, by the way.
Yeah, he's doing great.
Made a connection, actually, with David and Ryan Harklaw and Farm Bureau. So it's our friends connecting.
Yeah.
Ryan's going to look into helping out with the sale. There's a great sales forum at the Ivy College of Business. So long story short, companies can partner with them. It's a really neat program. And if you're a student or even a grad student looking to get in, I'm telling you guys, AI can't compete with people who can sell. So sales is one thing where you're always going to have a home. And they do. They have a really neat sales program there now.
Two other quick things. Remember CycloneFanaticShop.com for holiday shopping. Still get those in and get them by Christmas. I just put in an order for like my entire family. Y'all are getting CF gear. Blum's got his the We Will Collectives team shirts for the men's and women's basketball programs where the proceeds go back to the players, which is really cool. And we have some really cool new designs. Walking Cy, the Script Cyclones, all that good stuff officially licensed through Iowa State University. And then we have some new CF gear too, some Cyclone Fanatic merch. So check that out, cfshop.com or CycloneFanaticShop.com. Last thing, this is really cool. We always are promoting our Patreon and our premium subscriptions, and going to be a great time to be a subscriber here in the next month. I can promise you that.
Yep.
With all the portal stuff and all that. You can now gift Patreon subscriptions. It's super easy. There's just a link, and what a Christmas gift for a diehard Iowa State fan if you can do that. I'll tweet that out, but you can. I have tweeted it out before. I sent it out to all of our Patreon and premium subscribers. Like this is it's so easy to do now. It's always something we've wanted to be able to do, and it's been difficult because of the technology. Now Patreon has made it super easy, and what that is the difference between the premium and the Patreon. It's kind of complicated, but it's very simple. Some people don't like message boards. Some people just want the information going straight to their email. That's what Patreon is. So you don't have to mess with,
Logging
random, like the just chatter. But some people like the community aspect of the message board, and they meet people and they do all that stuff. So there you go. Got that out of the way. Let's do our Wiffles Hybrids Big 12 segment. Plant your independence. Plant Wiffles. Bloom's wearing his Wiffles Hybrids hat right there. Scott Frost is coming back to Central Florida.
What a world.
Did you ever think you'd see that?
No. Crazy. And so Malzahn takes the coordinator job. Interestingly, C-Dub, he then offered Iowa State wide receivers coach Noah Pauley the wide receivers job. I think Noah's going to turn it down, by the way. But something to keep an eye on. So the thing is, yes, the portal, there's obviously the head coaching stuff, but this is really busy time with assistants moving all over the place too. And when you win 10 games, Iowa State's assistants are now going to be targeted by a lot of folks too. So just keep an eye on it. Again, I don't think he's going anywhere, but interesting that he did get offered the job. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, so UCF, that seems kind of like a Hail Mary to me, trying to run it back to a time when it was different. But I guess that'll fire up their fan base.
I am excited just as a football fan to see if Scott Frost is a total fraud or not. Right? Like, and I don't mean that in a horrible way. It was just like he didn't really ever sustain anything at Central Florida. He was just kind of hot.
It was like 2
Goes
years.
to Nebraska, and everybody and it was the perfect hire. I don't blame Nebraska for hiring him the way that they did. And it was a disaster. And he couldn't have gotten kicked out of Lincoln fast enough for a lot of stuff. So now you bring him back, and it isn't a Power 4 league. How's he going to do? I don't know.
The interesting part, where he has been this year, he's
been like an associate, like analyst or something,
he's
right?
a consultant with the Rams. Guess who else is with the Rams?
Shieldhouse.
So Shieldhouse and Scott were on the same staff. So and then it's like the McVay coaching tree. It's like kind of turned into, hey, if you want to rescue your career, just go work with McVay and pick up all those tips and go from there. So we'll see. Maybe he has adjusted.
I bet he'll do okay.
I think
honestly.
he'll do. I mean that. they have advantages that a lot of the Big 12 schools don't. They're in Florida. Like, you're surrounded by good talent. There's no question. It's just what Malzahn could never do is he never could put all the pieces together. It's almost like he was trying to run an Auburn program without a full deck of cards, and it just didn't work. But yeah, maybe Scott will figure it out. We'll see. I'm curious who he'll hire on his staff. I mean, I think that's a couple pretty important hires for him. Other Big 12 news: the Kansas offensive coordinator took the Wisconsin offensive coordinator job, which is fascinating to me. I don't think the Kansas fans were disappointed by that. And notably,
boy, that Grimes is he just moves around.
I know, he's all
over
the place. And then
Yeah.
Daniels announced he's coming back. He reached an agreement with the school to come back next year.
I did not see that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that sucks.
Well, so he's back, and then the Cincinnati quarterback announced he's staying
I saw
there.
that part.
I'm trying
Is
to
this
think
the thing now?
Well,
Like, if Rocco's back next year, which by all intentions we expect him to be, like, will we put out a press release?
I don't know. I mean, the interesting part is it's Pete Thamel's been breaking a lot of this stuff, and he's been saying he's reached an agreement with the school because, again, not to get totally in the weeds here, we got a couple weeks to talk about the portal, but starting July 1, if that house settlement case goes through as anticipated, schools can start directly sharing revenue with players as of July 1. And so what's happening now in the portal is your collectives are fronting some of the short-term stuff from now until July, but then a lot of these schools are presenting offer sheets, C-Dub, like literally offer sheets of, come July 1, this is what we will give you from our player revenue share pool. So when they say now, reach an agreement to stay, it's not just the collective involved anymore, and this is why it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks because some of these schools are doubling up while they can. The money spent by the collective is not enforced as part of the cap until April 1. So what a lot of these schools are doing now is they'll say, all right, our collective's going to give you X, and then starting July 1, school's going to kick in Y, and that's your offer. So this is going to be the wildest money-wise, and then optimistically, once there's that cap in place next year, it should, and the contracts will have a little bit more meat to them. I think this will be the last really, really crazy portal timeline, but it's gonna get nuts.
That's a good synopsis.
This next 3 weeks is gonna be absolutely insane. Everybody, just insanity, and I think we're gonna be okay. I don't know everything, but it's gonna be interesting.
Kyle Whittingham announces that he's coming back in a weird press release where he just said, "I'm back."
And then they hired the New Mexico offensive coordinator.
And then Mike Gundy got caught up in a whole deal. And again, it's been pretty wild. I don't know the specifics but apparently they were like, Gundy, we're going to keep you, but we don't want to pay you as much. And then apparently Gundy's camp was, I don't know. It's what I've just read. That Gundy was like, hell no, fire me.
They're going to fire him with cause then.
Yes. What would the cause have been?
I don't know. I don't know exactly.
Like, I mean, if you signed a guy to a contract, like,
yeah, but
is it because of the drunk driving comment?
Maybe.
Honestly,
I don't know.
what
would
that
they
was
have
what I
tried
kept
to
wondering.
do? It was a stare down, but they didn't want to pay. Back to the revenue sharing thing. His buyout's like $25 million. They didn't
Well,
want to
and
pay that.
the other, saying the quiet part out loud is Gundy's not that marketable now
No, he wouldn't get another job
because he's very Fran McCaffrey transfer portal is the vibe.
Yeah, so he fired both his coordinators to kind of just reset. Can he reset again though? He's already reset like 5 times in Stillwater.
I don't know. I don't know how that's going to play out.
Them going winless in the conference is the craziest thing in maybe my time around the Big 12. I would never have guessed that. How did they go winless? They went winless, and they were picked to win or get second in the conference.
I agree with you.
It's nuts.
And they have good players. It's not like they all suck.
Something weird's going on there, and maybe that was the cause. Aiden dropped in the chat, former Iowa State assistant DK McDonald, now the defensive coordinator at Kansas. So he got a promotion there.
That's the guy that was stealing all our plays and stuff.
Well, there was actually no.
I'm kidding.
No. Well, another story for another day. But so now you'll have Vite at Cincy, McDonald at Kansas. That haycock tree is growing.
All right. Let's run through. Do you want to play guess the point spreads for these bowl games?
Yeah, I haven't looked at a thing. Sure.
I haven't either.
Do people want to hear that? I don't know.
I'm
going to be way off. I'm going to be way off on some of these.
This will be great. No, we're going to do this. We're going to do all the playoff games and the notable Big 12 bowl games.
All right, let's go.
All right,
This
Aiden,
is
hit the music.
highlight of my weekend.
Webwise Solutions, thank them for sponsoring Guess the Point Spreads. Try webwise.com. Okie dokie. Let's
how about
pull
us
these
real
up.
quick, CW, just while the Yakety Sax is playing, while all the youngins were at Texas Live, you and me went to, like, Saltgrass Steakhouse.
Yeah, we were old. Hold on, I'm tweeting this. Iowa State is a 1-point favorite over Miami in the Pop-Tarts book.
Is that right?
Yep.
So we're probably not anticipating Cam Moore to play. That's what that tells me.
Correct. Is it Pop-Tart or Pop-Tarts?
Well, is there more than one?
I don't know. You got a hunch on Iowa, Missouri, and the Music City Bowl?
Oh. No. I'll say. Hold on. I'm gonna guess. Missouri 4.
2.5. So that's a win.
Okay.
I'll give you a full 2 on these.
Thank you.
These bowl games are brutal as
Because you know who's
far
gonna
as
play.
yeah, you have especially like right now.
Yeah.
So I'll give you 2.5 if you're within 2.5 on these.
Okay,
Is that
so
fair?
I got one. Yep.
And I want to make sure I can read like the full name of all these bowl games because they're just that is the Trans Perfect Music City Bowl.
Trans perfect. Sure.
Okie dokie. Let's go Memphis, West Virginia.
West Virginia's playing in a bowl game?
Yeah. Indeed.
What bowl game is it?
I'm looking for it. The problem is these bowl games, they don't have the point spreads, and then I have to go to the Action
don't worry
Network
about it.
to
We'll
see
just-
the actual. That is in the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl.
Oh, that's Dallas. Yeah.
Tuesday, the 17th of December. So that's not too far from now.
Memphis 5.5.
Memphis is a 2-point favorite. Let me tell you something. One thing I learned, you don't want to play that Memphis team in a bowl game.
No, you don't.
Them sons of guns get fired
Ready
up.
to go.
Wow. All right, we'll go to the college football playoff right now. Indiana at Notre Dame.
When are these games, by the way?
This is Friday the 20th of December.
That's gonna be weird. Like you're gonna do the playoff and then anyway.
The
sequel
21st will be a great day. Saturday the 21st. There's 3 playoff games that day.
So Indiana and Notre Dame.
Indiana at Notre Dame. That'll be fun.
Notre
Couple Indiana
Dame-
schools.
Notre Dame 11.
7.5. That's a miss. SMU at Penn State.
Man, Penn State really lucked out with this whole situation. Good for them, I guess. Penn State 4.
8.
Good grief, I'm horrible today.
Clemson at Texas. But you know how hard this game's going to be for me to watch? Because you know you were watching that Clemson SMU game with me last night.
Chris doesn't like Clemson.
I hate Clemson.
Texas is a 8-point favorite.
11. I gave you the extra half. You haven't taken advantage of it. Tennessee at Ohio State.
Ohio State 11.
7.5.
What? This is
Bloom, it
embarrassing.
feels to me like there's a lot of value plays out here for you.
Well, clearly.
All right.
Ohio State's really good. I like that game actually a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're going to go back to the non-playoff games here. And Rutgers, Kansas State. You got a feel for that? Whoa. Yes. That is the rate bowl. It's no longer the guaranteed rate. It is the rate bowl.
Is that in Fort Worth?
No, it's in Phoenix.
Oh, yeah. All I know is I don't want to play Rutgers in a bowl game. I've seen that movie before.
Oh yeah, they get fired up.
They got
Man.
fired up. K-State is a
I mean, still, when Jarvis West returned that kick and they called that
Called a
brutal
flag.
hold, unbelievable.
9 points.
7. That's a win. I love that Oklahoma went to the SEC and now is in the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl
Surprised they even
against
accepted
Navy
it.
on Friday, December 27th. That's one of my favorite stories of the season. The AutoZone Liberty Bowl, Texas Tech against Arkansas. That's a fun one.
That's a fun.
The Liberty Bowl's honestly, whenever
I like
they don't
the Liberty Bowl.
it's a good matchup usually when they get that SEC team. They usually don't get it though. That's the problem.
I would say this is a pick 'em.
That's a win for you because it's 2.5 Arkansas.
Okay. I'll take it.
Do you have a feel for the Pinstripe Bowl, Boston College, Nebraska, the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl?
Oh, the Bad Boy Mowers is now sponsoring the pin. That's a new one. Nebraska against who?
Boston College.
Ooh. Nebraska 2.
3.5. We're gonna go to Albuquerque
Of course.
for the Isleta, New Mexico Bowl. Isleta. I don't even know how to pronounce this company.
There's always a New Mexico team in the New Mexico Bowl. Is that the case again?
No, it's Louisiana and TCU.
Oh no. TCU has to go to the New Mexico.
I'm telling you, that Louisiana team. Seen them. They are nasty.
Don't want to see them.
I want no piece of that Louisiana team. Kidding me?
Favored by 8.
9.5. That's a win.
That's
Congratulations.
pretty good, yeah. They don't want to be there though. I can tell you that.
BYU and Colorado in the Valero Alamo Bowl.
This is Colorado 6-point favorite.
Incorrect. Colorado's a 2.5 point favorite.
Well, we might not have Shadua or Travis though. So yeah. Okay. Keep an eye on it.
Oh, that's a good point. Cheez-It Bowl. My Gamecocks are in that one this year. It's so confusing how the Cheez-It Bowl
the
is
Cheez-It
now.
Bowl's now the one on
It's
New
the other
Year's Day.
bowl.
Yeah.
They just completely screwed it up. What about Baylor and LSU? That's a good game.
That's a good game. Baylor's been playing great. LSU has not. This is in Houston.
I gotta find the name of this bowl game.
I think LSU's a 4-point favorite.
LSU is favored by 3.
Oh, rolling now.
Yep, feeling good.
Yep. Field of
I don't know what the hell that bowl's name is. I'm not even gonna look it up.
It's the Houston.
Yeah, but there's got to be some corporate name.
It's just the Dave Aranda Revenge Game Bowl.
Oh yeah, he was at LSU. Good pull, Aiden.
That's it. That's it for the Big 12.
Speaking of Texas, how gargantuan is that stadium, by the way?
Oh, it's massive.
Oh my gosh.
That's
I
a
got
massive,
lost.
massive
I got
place.
lost in
Oh, it's the Kinder's Texas Bowl. What is Kinder's? Don't they make like spice? Isn't that what they're into?
I don't know what they're into.
I think they make like
Kenders? Like
yeah, it's like seasonings and stuff. And they are a Texas company, so that would make sense. All right, kill the sacks. Thanks, Aiden. Men's basketball just destroyed Jackson State tonight.
Jackson State
women's basketball just destroyed. Who did Central Michigan?
Central
the
Michigan.
Chips.
Yeah. Yeah, I think.
As we head into Cyhawk Week, we'll do a lot more on Williams and Bloom Wednesday.
What do we? Okay, let's guess the point spread for those games real quick.
You want me to pull up KenPom?
Yeah, do that. I think the Iowa women are probably favored by 4 against
Iowa
State.
women will definitely be favored in that game, I think.
And then I think Iowa State men by 6.
Kenneth Pomeroy says 5.
Okay.
With a 69% chance of victory.
It didn't go well there 2 years ago. Remember we watched that?
I keep telling all these Iowa State fans that are Iowa has gotten good enough though. As of now, that would be a quad 1 win.
Okay.
if Iowa State would win that game.
Remember 2 years ago, we watched that in Vegas with Hassel, and it was horrible.
Horrific.
Like, that might have been worse than yesterday because of Hassel, mainly. Mainly him.
I don't know.
Did they really?
But it was
speaking of
still
Hassel,
like December basketball.
Because I know he listens to this. Did they really do a live podcast following the?
joke.
Okay, got me.
Actually, I think Aiden started that.
Yeah, I definitely did.
That was okay. Well played.
Well,
Aiden, Aiden was
said-
trolling Iowa fans though. So
Yeah. I said, you guys should go live because there's a lot more Iowa fans interested in this game than Iowa State fans.
because they were all just chirping.
Yeah.
No, they did not go. I would not have.
I
would not have wanted
with
that.
Christopher
That would've
Hassel, it was believable enough that it got me. It got me for a little bit.
Oh, it's totally believable. Yeah, I don't doubt that.
You're gonna have a fun show with him tomorrow.
Yeah, he'll take it easy.
Yeah.
Honestly, like it's not his. He just loves like the interaction on social media, but he's not really like a troll.
He's not a
That's
bad
the
guy.
thing. Like
he just likes to poke.
But he loves doing it when you guys all lose your minds about it, and then, like on the air though, he doesn't do it very much. And here's the thing, you know him, you've known him just as long as I have. That's just him.
Yeah, it's not.
I've never met a human who thinks about like the peripheral storylines more than Hassel.
He'll text me. I'm like, why? You?
He
like,
thinks about everything.
he
Like
thinks
he's so
everything, yeah.
curious. He thinks about like crowds and like stuff that like and maybe this makes me bad. I'm just like I care about the games really. Like but he loves like uniforms and like he's really like really in depth on it. Like so it's just
Never
who he
changed,
is.
Chris. Never changed.
No, we
Mr.
love you,
Hassel.
buddy.
Yeah. So Aiden with another note that South Carolina beat number 9 TCU 85-52 today. Holy smokes! South Carolina women are just rolling.
Well, they lost that game to UCLA and they've just been
It's been on
a rampage ever since.
Yeah. So Wednesday's the women's game. Thursday the men's game. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go. I can't go to the women's game. I have a family thing going on, but I really don't like going over there. But I think I got to do it. I mean, it's my job, you know.
I don't think Iowa State's won there in basketball since
The Kiss?
the Kiss game. Is that right? I think that's correct.
No. Because was the Kiss game the same one that DeAndre Kane didn't play?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because that was
Or
the one like
no, that was nope. Where DeAndre Kane was not on that. Here we go. Zoom in there for me, big guy. We got so we lost. That was the Vegas game. We were there. We got rolled by Luka Garza in the Steve Prohm thing.
and that because Prohm like lost his mind
That-
and like ran out onto the court.
Yeah, so the last one was 2014. So that was not Kane. That was the Bryce Jean-Jones team.
Oh,
Remember,
yeah,
he had-
that's who it was because Bryce had the noise complaint.
The
thing.
noise complaint.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got Bryce and Kane mixed up.
With
My
the famous
apologies.
Marty Terrell questioning at Fred
What are you
Hoiberg.
doing, Fred? I mean, come on. What are you gonna get? You got a traffic ticket? Yeah, right.
We're late. I saw him last night. I saw Marty.
That's
It's
incredible.
like seeing a ghost in person.
And you did see him because you sent me a picture.
I did.
of
No,
him,
I
and
took a
I can
photo.
vouch for you.
So yeah, it's been 10 years since we've won over there. So I think it's the time to fix that.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. Honestly, I'm glad Iowa's doing better.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm higher on them than most people probably are, especially people who listen to this show. I think they're better than most of you think.
Well, they can
And-
score. I mean, again,
Yeah.
the Sanfords and Dicks, like those guys can shoot it. I
But
don't know how
this
they're
is-
gonna. I don't know
this
how they're
is
gonna
good,
guard
though.
Iowa State though. Yeah.
Like that would be a quad
yes,
one. Like,
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
I'm
for that.
happy about that.
I think so. Keep an eye on this team. I think you're going to see your top 3 ranked Iowa State Cyclones tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Never been higher than 3.
Really?
Mhm. Keep an eye on it.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome. All right. A lot going on. Please just follow our social medias, and we're doing the best we can. There's so much happening. Rob and Connor and Jacqueline and Aiden, everybody's working hard for you guys. The boys will have Kicking It coming up on Monday.
Inside Zone coming up on Tuesday. This week,
I was just going to
FYI.
ask you when are those guys?
Recording tomorrow night.
I had a nice cold beer with Rimsburg on Friday
you rode
night.
the bull? Remsburg rode the bull Friday night?
Again?
Yeah.
He's always riding bulls, man. He gets after it.
This Rimsburg is something else. He is an animal. Love that guy.
Remsburg's the best. So just FYI, Portal does open tomorrow, and
Really? I wasn't aware.
We're trying to replace some of that great senior leadership that Iowa State has. So just FYI, I don't need to say any more than that. We're going to do our best to make next year as successful as this year.
He is Brent Blum. My name is Chris Williams. Aiden Wyatt produces the program. We are presented, as always, by our friends at Mechdyne and the Wild Rose Casino Studios. We'll be back on Wednesday with a fresh Williams and Blum. It'll be Cyhawk Wednesday, baby! Here on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network.